Welcome back to Lane Switching. We have a very special guest in the building today. They've been featured on Hot 89.9, CBC, Spotify playlists. It's none other than Ottawa's very own NLN. Welcome to the studio, man. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me, man. That was a great intro.
Appreciate it. No worries, bro. No worries. Let's start with your intro. Let's start with your upbringing, bro. Talk about it. How was, early life for NLN?
Early life for me was pretty calm. I grew up in the east end of Ottawa. Really just like I was really into entertaining when I was younger. I think that's what made me kind of gravitate towards music, just because I was just really artistic kid. I was really into acting, singing, dancing. I grew up dancing. Fun fact, nobody knows, but I danced for three or so years competitively. And then I found music around 2016. I found hip hop during 2016. And then ever since then, I got hooked upon lyricism, and I just wanted to learn how to be the best rapper ever since then. So yeah.
That's super dope. You said you found hip hop 2016, right?
Yeah.
So before that, I think I saw another interview where you were saying you were growing up with just a lot of the music that was being played around the household.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. So as someone who didn't grow up listening to hip hop, why did you want to become a rapper? And now in 2023, do you consider yourself a rapper or just an all-around artist?
I am a rapper. I feel like a lot of artists try to shy away from the title, but I've just worked so hard on trying to become the best in terms of my pen, then it would be a shame for me to just discredit it and just say I'm an artist. I feel like some people say I'm an artist to kind of if they're not good at rapping, or if they don't have that strong of a pen, then it's okay, But I would like to claim that I'm a rapper. I am a rapper, but I'm also an artist too, which means that I like to sing, do a lot of different melodies and stuff like that. But sometimes I just put on a beat for 3 minutes and I rap. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. You said as well, it's kind of how you got into writing raps and getting into that. That was back in high school.
Yeah.
You used to do diss tracks.
Yeah.
Or you were writing for your homies diss tracks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think everyone who's been in high school, at least in the last 10ish years, you're doing some stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
When it comes to disrespectful hip hop, when it comes to rap, just diss tracks and all that stuff on the mainstream level, and really doing that as a profession,
Mhm.
Obviously it's probably not the route you're thinking of taking now, but just kind of what's your opinion on more negative rap? And I guess you can also put in that street rap and kind of shit like that.
I feel like rap should be just about expression. I don't think you should just be purposefully negative if that's not what you're living and if that's not what you're going through.
Sure.
If you're not a negative person, then I don't think you should be rapping about negative rap. I think it's just you should come to the mic with honesty. And if there's someone that's bothering you or whatever the case is, then I guess you can rap about it. But yeah, I just believe everything is about honesty and just truth. I don't think you should be rapping what you don't live or what you haven't experienced, So yeah.
And when it comes to maybe in the future collabing with a someone who's more in the gangster rap lane, do you ever see yourself, or maybe because of politics, whatever the case may be, maybe never see yourself kind of dabbling in that?
I'm just about the music, honestly. Genuinely, I just love making music. I love sonics. I feel like I'm very dependent on music. So just I wouldn't really do anything that doesn't align with my purpose, or that doesn't align with who I am as a person. So I just feel like I'm just gonna move with just my integrity and just whatever I do. So
For sure.
whoever aligns with whatever I align with is gonna be it.
Yeah, for sure. And then when it comes to doing features, you've done a few but not too many, and you've had obviously people feature with you sometimes, but what is that selection process? How does it somebody's oh, yo, NLN, I want you to hop on my track, or blah blah blah? Is it all about just the money, or is it just whoever you see fit with you, with your music? Sure.
Yeah,
we'll do one.
I've never paid for a feature. I've never accepted money for a feature. I just feel like it's kind of lame, given that I don't know, I just don't see myself I feel like I would just do it regardless. I feel like if you add a price to it, it's kind of I'm forcing myself to do it. Some people just do features for the money.
For sure.
But for me, I think just the selection process goes if I like your music, you know? If the song that you're presenting me is like something that I'm passionate about and I feel like I could have a take or input on it, like
Yeah.
as far as like the topic on the song, then I'm gonna do it, you know? I feel like that causes me to be more selective though, but I feel like my process is fine, you know? Whatever songs that I enjoy, whatever artists that I enjoy, I just either I shoot that out that we should collab or vice versa. But these times I'm more so just focused on my own kind of sound, my own music. I just love the way that I'm headed musically and sonically, and I have such big, like keep saying, I have such a big passion for music that it's just like I'm not really pressed for like features for like career gain, you know? Like I'm really just focused on what I can provide as an artist before anybody else. So
Yeah, for sure. And I think we're not just talking Ottawa, we're just talking in general. You have a very deep catalog.
yeah.
You dropped a crazy amount of songs. You used to do the song a week.
Yeah.
Like for how long was that?
I did it for 2.5 years.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so what was that process like doing a song a week? And kind of like a second question to that, do you think like what are the negative and positives about having a deep catalog?
A deep catalog. Oh, that's a good question. Okay. Um, I would say it depends on how you see it. The negatives of having a deep catalog is that sometimes the ones that you think are gonna go the craziest kind of get buried amongst, and like you kind of don't get that shine that you wish that you would have had for that song. But that depends on how you see it. I started seeing it as, well, I started seeing it like this a long time ago. I think it's just a great addition to the catalog as a whole. I don't really think about it like, I put my ego aside. Sometimes like I've gotten so disappointed with like some of the results of certain songs because I was like, oh, I thought this was gonna blow up. I thought this was gonna blow up. But I come to realize that once people discover me, this sometimes they even discover songs I made when I was 17 years old, you know?
Yeah, for real.
And I just can't really be caught up in the moment because I know that songs can catch on whenever. And that catalog is long lasting. It's gonna last forever, as opposed to if I were to just have like 5 to 10 songs that I really enjoyed, but like the people might not enjoy it, you know? I really think it's important to have like a vast catalog. Um, Again, like songs that you would want to put out that you enjoy, but that people can just find out later on. And also too, I feel like the benefits of having a great catalog is once the money starts coming in, it's longevity money, you know?
For
Like
sure.
to have hundreds of songs in your catalog under your name, that sets up, and you owning the masters and the publishing, it sets you up for many years, you know, as opposed to if you were to just have one or two that were to go crazy. So one other thing I could say about the catalog, because I think is very important, is a catalog of music helps you develop as an artist as well. It helps people see your growth. I feel like the fact that you can get a song that I had when I was 15 or 16 years old and have me blow up, for you to go back to that 16-year-old version of me can inspire another 16-year-old at that time when I'm older to show them that like it was a process of growth, you know, because not all of my songs when I first started making music were good, you know, like it took a lot of years of hard work. So just to have that tangibility aspect there too, I feel like is really important. Not everybody's perfect. I don't think dropping 5 songs and like, oh, they're just perfect is really good. A catalog helps you connect deeper, on a deeper level with an artist.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And just kind of going back to like the song a week, just what was the idea about dropping a song a week? What, like, why did you go about doing that?
So it first happened. So I told you I discovered hip hop in high school. 2017 is when I started making music, and it's 2018 where I started taking it more serious. I had seen Russ, obviously, who's the other artist that did that.
Yep.
I seen a song of his called Sometime that kept popping up on my YouTube, and I had heard of him vaguely, but I hadn't really tapped into what he was doing. But I guess since I started making music, more of his stuff started popping up in my recommended, and I saw an interview of his where he said that he just dropped a song a week until he blew up. And me, as like, I don't know if it was like 16 at that time, I'm naive. So I'm thinking like, oh, if I just drop a song a week, then I'm just gonna blow up. You know, I wasn't really thinking of any negatives or downsides. And also, I've never really been a person that's scared of hard work.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever it takes, you know, work wise. So yeah, that's basically where it started. I found it from Russ, and I just kept going and kept going and kept going. The reason why I stopped though is because I had to handle like preparation for concerts and shows, and I forget what, oh yeah, and I was prepping for my song Unclear that I had with Haley Knox.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a big moment for me in 2022, so I had to prep for that, so that's why I kind of took a break. But I was still on that wave. Like I think this year I must have did like 10 weeks in a row, things of that nature, stuff like that. I started at the top of the year, I did a streak, and then in the summer I did like a streak of songs. So it's still going, but it's just not as consistent as the 2 year. Like
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
2 years without stopping, you know?
yeah.
So yeah.
That's super tough. And something that's very important in 2023 is playlist placing.
Mhm.
So like getting on Spotify playlist, Apple, whatever. How important has that been in your career?
Oh my God. I can't lie, it helped a lot, bro. Like it just helps with credibility to see that Spotify co-signed you, like the app where people put their music on, like people
Mm-hmm.
that work there. It's on the outside perspective, like people don't even know like who works at Spotify, or like, you know, if there's people even behind it. They just see it as like a big corporation. So to have a co-sign next to your name and playlist with 100,000 likes or more, having your song in it is like, I feel like it's really cool. It's very important. Um, it helped a lot. Like the first song that got placed was "Ballin' on Ice." Oh no, the first song that got placed ever was my French song called "Tu m'aimes." That was when I was 15, I think. And then I was actively trying to get placed again, and it took about 2 years before one of my other songs got placed, which was "Ballin' on Ice." And when it got placed, I was very happy, bro, because I just kept grinding for it. But I would say for artists, like I would say build the foundation of your music first. To chase validation from the industry, I feel like is like draining,
For sure.
because like you should validate yourself before having validation from others, I feel like. And I had to learn that the hard way, obviously, by like constantly searching for validation, trying to get this article, this interview, this look, this cosign. But at the end of the day, what really matters is the foundation that you build with the people that rock with you, whether it's one person, two people, five people. Just like show them appreciation, and then they're gonna show love back. But not to negate the accomplishment of being on editorial playlists. Like I'm very blessed that I've been able to do that and still am able to do it. But I would say that the connection with the people that rock with you is way more important than playlists.
Yeah, for sure. And another big moment coming up for you in September. It's the 22nd.
23rd.
It's the 23rd. You have your second show at the NAC,
Yes,
second
sir.
solo show. It's a big deal, man. Talk about that show. You know, what can we expect?
Man, first of all, I would like to say that's a basement room production. So it's me and my manager doing it for the second year, headlining at the National Arts Center. Um, I'm just very excited for this year. Last year it went so well. I didn't really have any expectations for last year because I'm a 19-year-old headlining my show for the first time, you know, and like with no openers, it's like you kind of don't know the expectations or what to expect really. But it went great. Even just thinking about it makes me smile because it was so good, you know. The supporters were singing the lyrics to my songs, which that was the first time it ever happened in my life. So yeah, it was just such a good experience last year. And for the people that actually went there can vouch, like I know they had like a great time. Like even did a meet and greet after, was able to talk to everyone. Second time coming around this year, I'm making sure that everything is 10 times better than last one. You know, we're always Basement Room always tries to improve and better ourselves, you know. I just feel like we are going to be so big, so we kind of have to set that standard for our work and the name that we have under it. So I'm very excited for this year, bro. Very excited. I know people are gonna have the blast, and I'm prepping every day to make sure that it's the best show that the city has ever seen.
That's sick. That's super sick. And, you know, maybe obviously not this show, but shows in the future. Do you ever see yourself reaching out and getting other artists to open for you?
Yeah, I do. I think especially though, like coming up and ending up blowing up and starting to develop a touring audience, I feel like it's important to know your draw as an artist. So who actually is there for you, who is there for X amount of people. If I have like two or three openers in the beginning of my career, it doesn't really give me a good gauge on who's there for me. So I feel like just to be smart and cautious for like my touring career moving forward in the next few years, I kind of want to do solo headlining shows with no openers, just so that I can understand my pull and my reach. so that when it comes to like, getting a booking agent and all things that comes with like just touring, I can have the stats for it. I can put up the stats like, look, I did this and they only came for me. You know what I'm
For
trying to
sure.
say? So yeah, it's pretty validating to know that there's all the people in the crowd are there for you. But I definitely am gonna do openers in the future. But I feel like the openers that I'm gonna have is gonna be like in correlation to putting Ottawa artists on. So I know that when I get big, I'm definitely gonna come back to the city. What I'd like to do is just like have like my favorite up and coming ones and just like give them a platform to shine. I feel like that's really important. And I know how big that base room is gonna be. So yeah, just showing love back into the city. I feel like that's gonna be really important later on. But like I said, later on, once I know my pull and my reach, I feel like that's gonna be cool for sure.
Most definitely. And it was recently you went to Toronto on business. Just how was that experience? And you talk about how much Ottawa means to you and representing Ottawa, but do you ever see for music? Do you ever see yourself moving?
Moving permanently, no. I'm always gonna have a spot here in Ottawa. I'm definitely gonna have like different places where I live, but in terms of like living, I feel like I'm always gonna have a house here. The Toronto trip was great though. Like we were having a lot of fun. It was me, my manager, Kevin, who's a YouTuber and a model, and my producer Rooftop. So we just went there. We were making a lot of music. It was very fun. I got to meet a couple of supporters that were there, um, and then did an interview out there too. Yeah, it was a fun trip. Yeah, definitely eye opening for sure.
That's super sick. And a lot of times just that's just how it is. It's like unfortunately with Ottawa, the entertainment can only go so far. So you're gonna have to branch out. You're gonna have to go to cities like Toronto and Montreal. But
Mhm.
now, obviously, early into your career, having that under your belt is big time. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, for sure. I feel like it's important too. I feel like it's important to travel but never forget where you're from. I feel like a lot of people that blew up from Ottawa forget where they're from. And I hate to see that. I saw this one interview of this girl that was saying like this clouded like actress, she said she was asked the question like, what is your advice for people in Ottawa? Um, what is your advice like for to be an up and coming actor, actress? And she said, leave Ottawa. Like I feel like that's kind of whack. It basically diminishes everybody that doesn't have the opportunity to travel or doesn't even have the money to think that they can never make it in Ottawa, coming from someone that's from Ottawa. And that's what I hate to see. I hate to see people from Ottawa bringing other people from Ottawa down. So with me, I'm doing the complete opposite. Even when I was in Toronto, I was talking about Ottawa. You know what I'm trying to say? I
Yeah,
was talking about the comparisons between Ottawa and Toronto. And I'm always trying to big up the youth in Ottawa because I know that I was once there, with no accomplishments, with no songs, just trying to find the little bit of hope. And especially in the beginning stages of a dream, it's very fickle. It's very like it can get broken at any time just with one comment, and then that idea is completely erased from your mind. And then that path that you would have took would have been non-existent, and it only takes one person. And especially it's like if you're a credible person like that, I don't think you should be bringing other people from your own city down, So my goal, Base Room's goal, is the complete opposite from that. I want Base Room to be a beacon of hope for all of Ottawa, especially through the music, the quality of the music. That's something that we don't play around with. I'm very passionate about music, and I make sure that every song that I put out has substance in it so that, when I present myself to the youth of Ottawa in any shape or form, whether it's a TikTok, whether it's a song on Spotify, whatever the case is, I just hope that they can get inspired and be like, I want to make quality music and represent my city.
for sure. And I think there's just an kind of this overall like self-loathing energy a little bit in
Hmm.
Ottawa. And I think there's a lot of great young creators out here. And I think within a
Of
5-10 year
course.
period, I see that changing.
Of course.
Talking about kind of about business, how much does business influence your music? And as someone who's an artist and you kind of have to just focus on the music sometimes, how much does kind of the business aspect of the music industry kind of stray away from or take away maybe from your creativity?
That's such a good question. I was before I even had like one supporter, before back when my manager was my only supporter, we made it a point to study the game, study the industry, study the business to make sure everything that we do once we blow up, we'll be ready for it. Because in our head, we thought it was tomorrow. We never knew when it was gonna happen. In terms of like business though, it does weigh down, not more so business, but more so wearing multiple hats. I feel like it weighs down a lot on the creative side sometimes, just because like I'm an artist, but since I'm independent, I also have to be my marketer, you know. I have to send out emails, I have to do a lot of things, you know, and my manager holds a lot of hats as well. So, but it's nothing that I'll complain about though, because it's like I signed up for it at the end of the day, and I'm really passionate about music. So I just know that it's just not always gonna be like roses and butterflies all the time. Like sometimes you just have to like put your head down for like a few weeks, go through it mentally, but just have to grind and push it out because nobody's gonna do it for us, you know? So yeah. I've always been like that way though. Like I said, I've never really been scared of hard work. So no matter how hard it gets, like I always find my way for sure. Always find my way.
For sure. And just kind of wrapping up here, you know, for the audience, what can they expect? Obviously, besides the show this September the 23rd at the NAC, what can they expect from NLN?
Whole lot of music as always, good quality music. Um, just authenticity, you know, always being myself, not trying to be anybody else. Um, yeah, just good music. You said not mention the show, but I can't not mention it, bro. September
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
23rd, you know, pull up, you know, bring everybody you know. It's gonna be a great show. I suggest that you just, if it's your first time listening to me, um, I would just say prepare for the greatest show you've ever seen.
For sure, for sure. And I'll definitely be there. So for the people, where can they find you on social media?
Um, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere is just NLN. So wherever you listen to music, just press play and enjoy.
That's super dope. That's
Yes,
super
sir.
dope. So that was the NLN interview. That's my GNLN. I'm DF2. That was the NLN interview. Peace, y'all.
See ya.